Okay, welcome back to another Unreal stream. Today we've got lots of conversations about control rig. It's kind of a complicated day today. I don't know, I just can't. We had a stream, Unreal had a stream about motion warping and full body IK, and I was watching it, trying to get my head around it. It's like almost 3 hours long, and I've only watched like an hour and maybe 10 minutes of it, so I haven't got through it. Audrey's here, welcome, and Sarah's here. All right. So it's going to be a bit of a strange day trying to untangle all this mess. Probably going to be kind of a difficult and boring session, but we got to do it. You got to get through the tough stuff. And I've got tons of stuff I got to try to figure out. So luckily, I am still very much in square one. So I have to. You get to sort of watch me as I struggle from the beginning. Hey Audrey, I'm doing well. Today is a exciting, busy day. I don't know, nothing exciting, well, nothing that's worth talking about, but it was just one of those days where I'm just like, gotta do this, I gotta do this, gotta do this, gotta do this. And a big part of it is the fact that I'm trying to figure out how to do all this IK stuff, actually. Anyways, so I guess we'll transfer over to the desktop if I can get that remembered before I forget. Hopefully you're doing well too, Audrey. How's Toronto treating you? Weather's nice today. Should be okay. Hopefully. All right. So here's the video. Motion warping, full body IK. Oh, I just said I am. And it's just like all streams from Unreal, they get really technical and very difficult to follow because they pretty much go from a really challenging state of assuming that you kind of know a lot and you want to know a lot more. So it gets into, like, this is the motion warping section, and how the characters can use motion warping to get over an object dynamically, so that basically, depending on what size of the object of the box is, they can sort of hop over it in their own context and animate properly. So it's very interesting. A little bit too, I don't know, difficult to demonstrate potentially, but I am actually going to be starting to work from the ancient demo, so that we have a lot of these assets existing already. I don't know what I'm going to do today. I'm just going to try and figure out some stuff. There is a really good example of following the full body IK, which is actually something that you can see in Motion Builder. So I'm going to try and follow along those steps to build a full body IK system using the simple example they have here, just to get something moving and get a feeling of how difficult it is to get all these numbers to sort of make a full body IK work. I don't know, we'll see where we'll go with that. Ian's here, hey, welcome. And, oh, Audrey says it's warm, not too bad. Yeah, exactly. Not too hot, not too cold. We've also got a version of the control rig, Python control rig from John. Let me just read his message again here. He's got update, find a way to get item property reset. There's certainly a better way to do it. Current implementation can't find a way to serialize rig key element key struct. So am I even in the right section here? Where am I getting this from? Rigging with Python. Oh, that's what it was. Sorry, I thought this was something else. Anyways, I gotta take a look at this too, because I haven't even looked at it yet. And John's done a lot of effort into getting some stuff ready. I literally thought this was something else, so I'm really gonna have to check this out now. This is from last week, and man, I really wish I had watched all the videos and stuff. before the stream. because now I feel really out of place here. I was like, I was gonna go, oh yeah, we just gonna work on. I thought it was the little checkbox thing, and he did an expansion on it. Clearly, I was misunderstanding where I was going with this one. This may be a little bit too more complicated than I expected, so I don't know if I'll be able to cover it or not. But we can always give it a try. Take a look. Open it up. See what he's got. He's probably asleep right now because it's England and you gotta sleep at certain hours of the day. And you know what? Let's take a look at that first because it's actually very interesting. It might influence what we're doing here. So I'm gonna unzip this thing and we're gonna see what John got us. We'll just put it right in that folder there. Today's one of those streams, though. It's going to be like everything's going to be super complicated. Those are tough streams. Usually it's like, oh yeah, you just kind of play around with some fun toys. But now it's like, okay, we got to figure some stuff out here. I don't think I need the Houdini plugin here. Oops, I think I answered the question wrong. It's always tricks me. If you no longer want to open click not. So I'm going to say disable. Yes, I would like to disable. All right, here we go. And we're probably going to turn on some audio with John talking. I'm sure he's going to love it as we try to figure out what it is that he's got here. This is a skeletal mesh with 4 boxes that are skinned to joints. I'm going to guess. Look at that beautiful job. I have to figure out what exactly it is that we're trying to accomplish. We're obviously auto-rigging stuff. I mean, not obvious. I think we're supposed to be auto-rigging stuff with Python scripts. So, and I assume that the scripts are already enabled. Well, I don't know. Here's a blueprint. Generate control rig from skeleton. Okay, so basically we have a skeleton and we're going to be generating the control rig controllers around it. So it selects all the assets. Does it know what assets to select? Oh, it's probably part of the control rig object that you put in your scene, I guess. Oh, I don't know. We're gonna go to find the video. Where was that message again? All right, John. Here we go. Good to hear you talk.
You know, I'd have a crack at. Hey, yeah, so I was just going through the stream last night, and I thought, you know, I'd have a crack at seeing how far I can get with creating something that would resemble the auto rigging based on the skeleton hierarchy.
Hey, Rabbit's here.
So
welcome.
In the blueprints folder of this project, we've got another one of those editor utility blueprints, and all this does is basically have a function in it called generate control rig from skeleton. It then loops through, gets the path of whatever you've sort of selected in the editor, and then passes that on to this rig.python script, which is in the content scripts folder, which is where all the meat is of this thing. And basically, if you go to meshes and then sort of import a mesh.
Ooh, Robert's learning some UE4 creds today
as well.
It's a big job.
You've got your skeleton mesh here. It's got a root and then joint 1, 2, and 3.
Oh no,
so
I just lost track of what was going on here.
It's got. You've got.
It's basically going.
Leave and include import a mesh, which I'll just leave and include in the project as well.
Oh, okay. He's just doing what we've already done.
Skeleton mesh here. It's got a root and then joint 1, 2, and 3. So nothing that exciting, but you know, has all this stuff going on, so that's cool. Awesome rig. And then basically, based on what was demoed, you can create the control rig. You will need to open it up.
Oh, he's in Unreal 4 here.
A minor thing I need to sort out, I think. where this node needs to be created dynamically. I always thought this one would exist, but it's
I may
only
have to do this on Unreal 4.
thing when you open it. So you have to open this up, and then once you've opened it up, you can see you've got all that stuff by default. If you right click and then go scripted actions, generate control rig.
I've
from
opened this
skeleton,
project, so I probably am in
open
Unreal 4.
you can see that it's then created.
Alright, I just missed whatever that was
you
that
can
he
see that
just
it's
did.
then click and then go by default.
So he's going to execute
if you
a...
right click and then go scripted actions, generate
Scripted
control rig
action.
from skeleton, and then open it up. You can see that it's then created the get and set nodes for you based on what was set up, and it also sets up these controls down here. Now the big problem I have, which I cannot figure out right now, is the fact that the item property on each of these nodes does not get set. It seems to be a protected property or attribute.
This is
so I'm
maybe
not
the
sure
part he fixed.
what I'm doing wrong, and I'm sure someone way smarter than me. Steve is kind of like what it works. I'm obviously doing something.
Like how John is always
most of the
very
way there,
humble.
based on what we were
It's like, I'm sure there's somebody smarter out there
I'll
that
share the
knows how to do
projects
this.
just now, but hopefully.
Meanwhile, he's like written this whole thing in Python.
Cheers.
Alright,
Yeah,
well
so I was
he's...
just going through the stream last.
Oops. He's already got a bunch of stuff set up here. So I think I can follow along. Let's see how things are going. Hey Robert, how's the UE4 crowds working out? Are you getting some good progress with that, or is it pretty hard to do? Quick question. If I were to add a weapon to a character with their animations and skeletons and everything, is that with the control rig? No, you don't have to use a control rig for that. All you gotta do is create a socket on the joint, and then you can attach the weapon to the socket. But the socket has to be positioned in a way where the weapon is sitting correctly when it snaps to it. That can be a bit tricky. Sometimes, usually what people do for characters with weapons is you create a joint on the skeleton that is your prop joint, and that prop joint gets animated and positioned in a way that allows the weapon to snap to it correctly. So you'd be animating in Maya, and you'd have your weapon snap, or basically constrained to this joint in Maya, and that way everything that you do, and you animate the joint, which moves the weapon. So everything you do with that joint is going to get captured in your animation data, and then when you're in Unreal, you just create a socket on that joint. You don't have to do any positioning, just snap your weapon to it, and it will be in the right place. So there's a bit of setup involved to make it easy, but you can always just grab that socket and offset and move it if you need to, so that it looks correct. And then the tricky part is like you said the M word, the M word or the B word, could be Blender, and then the tricky part is getting it so that it spawns in the world. So even though we can get it set up so that you can see it happening in the animation preview, you still won't be able to get it see it in the world, because that is an object that needs to spawn in the world too. And so it's a little trickier for gameplay, but if you're talking about sequencer, it's a bit easier, because you just drag in your sword and drag in your character, and then link your sword to your character. I can probably go through some of that if you want me to, but all of that stuff was like, that workflow has been around since day one. And the control rig is something that's just coming around now. So definitely, control rig is overkill for what you need in that case. Crowds is awesome and not difficult. Oh, wow. That's an unexpected answer. Usually crowds are extremely difficult. Robert says, yeah, attach it in on sequence. Yeah, sequencer. Yeah. I mean, you might not even need a socket joint in sequencer if you don't want to, or for sequencer. But if you want to have a bit of offset from where the joint is, like for example, if you don't have a prop joint, you could just create a socket that can be your offset, and that way you don't have to fiddle with it in your sequencer necessarily. However, if you want to animate that socket, you can't do it in sequencer unless you put a control rig on it. So animating in sequencer from like a joint based animation does require control rig. For crowds, there's the component renderer, which makes it super simple, but getting it to work 100% correctly, it takes a bit. There's a component renderer, which makes it super simple. That's interesting. Yes, but getting it to work 100% is difficult. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm curious to know what a component renderer looks like and what it does, but it sounds like they've tackled that problem pretty well already. All right, so this is grabbing the scripts script.py, which already exists on this project. No, wait. Oh, is it in content? There it is. Scripts.script.py, rig.py. Let's take a look at how complicated this script is. I'm just gonna open it up. Because what's hilarious is John did this in the morning or something. I just felt like writing this, like, you know, 160 line script for fun as I woke up in the morning. Oh, what else is Robert here? Yes, instead of a mesh renderer or this sprite render. Where my Slack is popping up here. Oh, what was I reading? All I need to do is to put some weapons on my background characters in the scene, in the crowd. Yeah, okay. So yeah, definitely socket sounds good. But again, I don't know how this renderer component works. So are they blueprints? Are they like character blueprints? Or are they like spawned? Oh wait, let me just read the second line here. Yes, instead of a mesh render or the sprite render in Niagara, which is what I was just about to say, there's a component one. Okay, so you're doing this in Niagara, it sounds like. Which puts your skeleton and the animation into a particle simulation. Crazy. Yeah, that's definitely an unusually new feature from Niagara that is pretty interesting for doing crowds. I do not know how you're going to put weapons on the hands that easily anymore because we're talking about a different sort of setup than what I'm familiar with, so I don't know. I mean, still, if you can get a socket on those skeletons and you can just say attach weapons to the sockets, then you'd be fine. You don't have to do any tweaking or anything. It'd be good. But I don't know how easy that is to do. Robert says, which puts your skeleton and the animation... Oh, sorry, I read that again. Hey, Sean's here. Welcome, Sean. Just in time for me to do some really unnecessarily complicated things right now. But we are using John's script to build an auto-generated control rig using Python, which a lot of this information I'm going to be storing for sure. So thank you, John, because it's very interesting to see how you can get a Python script to actually function, and especially in a control rig. Creating auto rigging stuff with control rig is a very interesting path, and that's kind of what I alluded to last week, I guess, which inspired John to write this giant script. So I'm going to try to run through it here, but basically it's just putting this Python script into a execute Python command as a string, which is very interesting. And I'm not sure, selected assets must be like the process of saying this asset that you've ran on, take everything in it, and I don't even know. Why are you looping through each of them to add it to the string? I guess you're attaching each joint. You're applying the script to each joint that's selected in your scene. That's insane. But that's the C++ function right there to get selected assets, so that must... I don't know how to control it, but there it is. Anyways, so this fancy thing that I'm looking at right here, this control rig, this is an editor utility blueprint, which I'm not familiar with using, but looks pretty handy. Here's the final outcome. I'm going to delete so we can start from scratch here. So this is a skeletal mesh with just 3 joints, or 4 joints, skinned to a couple boxes. We're going to create a control rig from that using my Unreal 4.26. And what version are we? Yeah. And then what am I doing? Now I'm gonna open it. I think you have to do this part manually, he said. And then do we do the scripted actions from here? No, that's not gonna be right. Oh, it kind of worked. Oh yeah, look at that. It did work. All of a sudden, all these objects just got generated. And we have, for some reason, all the boxes together here. Oh, look, they're all sideways. We have that box, top of that box. Must have done something wrong because we didn't translate them correctly. But we're taking the bone joint, the bone, and wait a minute, it's all upside down from what I'm used to. Oh, we have two forward solves. Interesting. So we're taking the control of this, and we're putting it into the bone transform like we did last week. Control root goes into there. Control joint 1 goes into joint 1. So we're just making more of them using the same name. Joint 3. Maybe propagate to children or something? I don't know what's going on here. Anyways, we will explore that a little more. Robert says, so you spawn points. The component renderer attaches the skeletons and animations and just plays everything. Okay. That almost makes sense. So they're just spawning at a point. Many points at the crowd to make sure that they don't overlap each other and stuff. Robert also says, now that I'm trying to set up different spawn groups so they have attraction to each other. So good guys and bad guys fight each other. Nice. So but then also they have to make sure they don't collide with each other. I mean, it's definitely the right way to approach crowd simulations. I mean, man, what a nightmare you'd have to be to try and do that many people and that unpredictability inside of Sequencer. You really want this like very minimalistic calculation, very dynamic process, so you can make changes and adapt to different environments and stuff. But when I was working on Arkham Knight, we did a crowd sim and we were using Matinee. It was absolutely insane. I didn't have to do it. It was another animator, but it was like their full-time thing. Just try to get the crowds working. Lots of people. It was one of the opening shots. And yeah, it was a big job. Robert, yeah, I tried doing a sequencer and it was way too much. Yeah. Crowd Sims has notoriously been a super crazy job, and then there was all these plugins and all these different ways to do it that sort of alleviated a lot of that problems, but then you had to like interpret a third-party software into the output that you're trying to perform, and for real time that's just not necessarily compatible. So it's pretty unusual and unique that Niagara has this option that you can tap into. Sean, scripts saves lives. That's all I know for sure. They also waste lives. But when they work, they save lives. I've spent a lot of time in my life trying to get scripts working, so I like doing it. I just know that it's not easy. Oh, I was just about to oh look. Now all of a sudden things are not looking weird. What's up with that, eh? Oh, I just killed everything. What I was going to try to do is see if I could run that again without having to... Actually, what I should do is try to find out what John's workflow was. Read the rest of his messages. I'm terrible for this. I don't read things, I just do them. And then I go, why is it not working? Rigging. Minor update that creates the initial forward solver node so that no need to open up the control rig initially. Oh, okay. For the generate action to work. Still can't get the item property set. But don't need to open up the control rig initially. Okay. Just have to create the control rig and then just apply the script. Okay, final update on this one. I promise I had to idea when I woke up this morning. See, look at this. He has all his ideas in the morning. Found a way to get the item property reset. There's certainly a better way to do it than the current implementation. Can't find a way to serialize rig element key struct, so I did it manually. Jake's head. Added additional comments into the script and tidied up a bit in the project to test. Create control rig from the skeletal mesh. Create control rig from the skeletal mesh on the control rig. Oh wait, this is what I have to do? Or does it do that? On the control rig asset. Oh no, I guess I have to do it. Right click and run the custom action as before. Rig is generated. Famous last words. Alright, let's give it another try. Script saved line. Yes! There's an asterisk to it. Was there? You should put one. There should be one there. I didn't get it though. Alright. Here we are. Skeletal mesh boxes. Right click. Create control rig. I don't have to open it. It's just, but I created it from the skeletal mesh, so I know for sure it's in here. Then I right click on it, scripted actions, generate control rig. Magic happens, and everything works beautifully. Oh, almost. Still got this weird problem where they're squished together. It's almost like the translation didn't come across. Global space. I guess in theory these joints are just in the wrong position, that's all it was. So if I break this, or wait, no, I don't do it that way. Break this, there we go. Pops back to the real part of the world. And that's where the sockets need to be generated from. I don't know, let's try it again. Oh wait, I forgot something. Get rid of all these guys too. Alright, scripted actions. Generate from skeleton. No, I'm not getting it. Something's not making sense. They're supposed to be like created from inside there. But now if I do it, it's gonna be all weird and distorted. Let's try one more idea. And I know that this is already not the intention that John had, so he's not gonna be impressed. Wow, I cannot close this. There we go. And I pull them out of here. Unparent. Put these guys back on there. Get rid of these guys. Can we, out of curiosity, no, they have to be generated from it. That's the only way that's going to work. Well, I could manually put it all back together, but I don't know what the point is. We're definitely not benefiting from the script at the moment because it's in the wrong place. So there you go, John. You'll have to figure out, tell me what exactly I did wrong here. Obviously, you can grab these things and say initials to the closest bone, and then it becomes the joint, and then joint 1 can be like, oh shoot, where am I going here? Can be offset to it, maybe, and manipulate it or something. But that's just setting it up manually. I could also take a look at the script and try to fix it, because, you know, that sounds possible. But it's not realistic that I'm going to do this on the fly. It is nice that this is all written in Python. If you guys ever want to learn a Python, sorry, a scripting language, Python's a really good one to get used to because it's fairly straightforward to read, and it works in all these different like graphical programs, so it's pretty good. It's Arnab. How can I join this Slack channel? Sorry if I'm asking a dumb question. So the Slack channel is the private channel from CG Spectrum for all the students who are enrolled. It's actually a very cool place. We have lots of conversations going on. It's a happening place, which is fantastic. But it is unfortunately a private group that only the people who are enrolled get to be part of. But when you finish the course, you get to stay there. So we have all our alumni and our current students in here, as well as all 115 mentors or whatever we have, which is a crazy amount of mentors. But we do have, this is my moment to pitch Discord. We do have a Discord, CG Spectrum, which is public facing, where you can join our CG Spectrum group. And we have Hannah, who is doing a fantastic job of keeping it all updated and working. So feel free to join that. And when you do join, how do I tell you what it is? I don't know. CG Spectrum? I don't know how to tell you which one it is, but you'll just have to hopefully understand that there is one out there that everybody's free to come and join. And what they do is they ask you to click on, is it part of rules? And then you have to click on the icon to accept the rules, and then you get access to these other channels and chat with some of the students, as well as other people that are interested, and get some questions answered. Especially if you have questions, because those questions get relayed to the people that need to know. Okay, John, I'm going to move on from your script, and you'll have to let us know how it went. The original thought that what the script was the script that he showed last week, which was about making checkboxes that allowed you to control different switches, which when I was watching this stream, he was using different command prompts for various things. And I'm like, oh, that's a handy one. I wish I had a checkbox for that more often. And then there was another one he used, and I'm like, oh, that's another handy one. And I was thinking I should have wrote it down before I lose it in this giant 3-hour stream. And I didn't write it down, so I lost it. But there's all kinds of interesting ideas that you could use for that script, besides just using it for... I forget what I was talking about. Oh, for graphical rendering stuff, which is currently what it's for. Anyway, that was something I was going to work on, but I don't even remember what the other scripts I wanted to add, so we're going to keep moving. But anyway, this is a stream that happened today, just a few hours ago with Unreal, and they were talking about motion warping and full body IK within Unreal 5 and breaking it down. These are all, notice how they're all like technical programmers and stuff, so very hard to like understand and relate to their conversation. Because they're all like on a different level of skill than we are, or I am, and they're like solving these complex problems and explaining the problem. But what he does do, to be fair, is at 140 he actually starts to begin from scratch and build a full body IK, which is a lot like what happens in motion building, where you have full body controls and you can grab a portion of the body and the rest of it can move along. So I'm going to try to match what he's done in this video and get it working on Unreal 5, because I feel like that's a nice stepping stone. Not only is motion warping and full body IK brand new features that are available on Unreal 5, and you know, try to understand their benefits, but the nice thing about full body IK is it can really do some interesting stuff that you can do in Motion Builder. For example, if you wanted the character to reach for a doorknob, you can, you know, make it so that even though your animation is doing stuff like breathing or walking or doing stuff, you can get that reach to happen, and it will actually contact with the doorknob, and elbows won't hyperextend, and they'll lean over. Now, whenever, what was interesting is he was talking about it in this video, but he wasn't addressing the fact that, you know, when you do have somebody lean over, they fall out of balance. So you would actually need to like counter movements with the hips to keep your balance straight, which is just a classic animation thing you always got to do. But then later on in the video, he's talking about how you can have multiple, like you can have a point that's pulling the upper body and then a point that's pulling the hips the opposite way. So you could actually do that counter animating with this full body IK, and you could do that procedurally through the gameplay, or maybe in a sequencer. I'm not sure if you can do this stuff in sequencer or not, but he did have a disclaimer right in the very beginning where he was like, this isn't really intended to animate with. This is just meant as a corrective change that you can use dynamically in the game. So it's not really like, it's a little bit different than what Control Rig is, where Control Rig you're actually making IKFK switch controls that you can animate with. But this one really is just meant for real-time, kind of runtime, I mean, modifications. But in my experience with game development, just getting stuff like opening a door, getting the hand to contact to the door is really hard to do, because if you're just like, it looks normal if you're at the exact right distance, but if the door is like 2 inches further, your elbow hyperextends and the arm doesn't reach far enough. So it's just really hard to get that stuff to all align. And when your player walks up to the door dynamically, you can't just get them to like shift and lock into place so they can play the door opening animation. They kind of want them just to play based on where they arrived at the door in the first place. And all this motion warping and full body IK could solve all that. So potentially in the future, you're going to see all these nice, you know, seamless transitions of body animations working with interacting with the environments without having to see all this like jumpy, gappy, slidey stuff. In fact, with the motion warping in the first video, one of the things he was talking about, this guy, was how he was showing some of these different types of features, and one of them was, although he said that it's not ready yet and it's not supported, but it at the moment, but it can really help eliminate a lot of the feet sliding, and it solves all this, like it locks, I guess it solves where the feet are supposed to be and allows your body to move towards the next goal without necessarily telling the feet to move there. And feet sliding in games have been like, it's just one of those things that always happens, and it's so hard to avoid it. And if you write this very complicated blueprint, you can actually get that to be avoided, but you know, realistically nobody has that capacity, so you just get a lot of feet sliding. But potentially in Unreal 5, when they get this feature working, you can set it up so that the feet don't slide and it still plays the animations properly, and that saves animators a ton of headaches, because now they can just make animations, which is cool. We have a a name of a person here. I'll call him Banana. Thanks for everything. Go ahead. I don't even know whether that's a real comment or not, but we'll just say that that was a real comment. We'll move on. And I don't know what else to talk about on this front. Oh, we're going to follow the video here. So let's go to 140. And like, this video really does go on for like, let's see how to go reverse here. 2 hours and 51 minutes. It's just crazy long. This is the problem with these streams, is they're just really hard to follow, because you're constantly like, it's just too much information at once. And even right now, I'm like trying to find the spot where he was that allowed us to get to the next part. Whoa, I don't even know what he just did there. Just imported the Echo character into an empty control rig asset? Wait. Oh yeah, so this part he's just previewing what he's about to do. Let's see if I can just do what he just did there. That was pretty neat. It's at 140, I swear. Where is it? Why can't I see what I just did there? All right. And now that I got it finally lined up, the video's not working. The nice thing about this particular project is that I don't have to worry about whether or not the rig is set up properly. Sometimes that can be a real hassle too with control rig. I remember the first time I was trying to use control rig, my character had all these twist joints on it, and I couldn't get the rig to work with twist joints. So I was like, ugh, how do I even get to the next stage here? Alright. So look, he just creates a regular control rig object and doesn't have it created from a skeletal mesh per se. But in here, he clicks on hierarchy and he types in Echo. See how fast that was? That was crazy. Man, oh man. Alright, let's try that too. We're going to try and see if we can replicate that. So we're just, oh, we got rigs in here. Oh, I've got a search filter on. Alright, here we are. Oh, look at all these other things in here. We got Echo Helpers control rig and Twist control rig. Shape warping, or slope warping, post-process animation. Okay, we're gonna do animation control rig. Just make a regular standard control rig. And we open it up. Okay, and we click on import hierarchy. And then we pick whatever characters we can in our scene. Oh, jeez, we could use like the giant boss mesh. No, we're just gonna do basic right now. Echo character. Click OK, and we should have our character brought in. Yay! Okay, so this is our character rig. See how the twist joints are here? They aren't actually part of the hierarchy. Like, the main arm joint isn't like 3 joints to get to the elbow. It's like 1 joint, and then there's another joint that comes down to the twist, another joint that comes to the twist there, so that you can actually do this properly. And I'm not even sure if that's necessarily super important anymore, but it is always good to kind of check out how they do some of these rigs from Epic, because they obviously are designing it with the right workflow in mind. Okay, so what we're making is the full body IK, and there is a specific node for it. Let's see here. Where was that video? Make sure we make the right node here. It's called, I don't know, F full body IK. Oh, I did actually say it correctly. Full body IK. Boom. All right, so this little node turns into this giant, huge, complicated node over time. And I think that's where he was even talking about how this is like node hell, because it just goes into this like insane list over time. Because what you're trying to do is say, I want the joint from this hierarchy to control all the way up the hierarchy to the other parts and stuff. So, because what he's trying to do is get the feet to be locked in and the head to be locked in, and let the spine and everything all move individually around it. Alright, so he's putting the pelvis as the root. And, oh, as opposed to the root. I guess that makes sense, because the pelvis is right here and the root is down on the ground. So this is interesting. I wonder how many... What does he start with now? Is it the feet? Yeah, so he's got the foot. Put a new control. See, he's built the new control based on where the foot is so that it starts right in the right location. The first joint we're going to do for this is the pelvis. Then he created like 3 effectors. Although I don't know why he needs 3, but we'll start with, we'll do 2 for now. And he needed to go find the foot, because that's where he wants to make the first controller that you can work with. So the foot right. And here you can build a new control from that foot. And it creates a new control space, which is the offset positional data, to make sure that that controller goes exactly where the foot is. I wonder if he's going to rename this controller. Seems logical. Maybe he has a strategy of how to rename it. Oh, and then he unparents it afterwards, because you don't want it to be part of the hierarchy, but you do want that offset involved. He's made one for, oh, that's why he made 3. One for each foot, and then he's going to make another one for the head, which is the top of the full body IK thing. I'll make another effector for that. And not that I need to yet, because I haven't actually done anything with it yet. We got the right foot, and then we're going to put the left foot. Oh shoot, where's the other foot? Thigh twist. Calf foot, there it is. New control. And he was already unparenting it, so unparent. And I'm using the space control to unparent, so that I guess it keeps that offset on there. And then I gotta find the head. Oh, here it is. Then make a new one on the head. And unparent that one. And I'm pretty sure the next thing he does is get rid of all the spacers. Because you don't really need the spacers necessarily. Oh, he's gonna name them first. See, he had to remember what order he made them. Oh, I guess, no, it doesn't actually say, does he? So he renames them all, and then what? Takes all 3 of them, brings them in immediate control. He didn't get rid of the spacers. Interesting. Alright, let's try to catch up with where he went here. Oh, I think I did the left foot first. I did the right foot. I could be wrong. We'll see. And then the head. Mervin, hey! Welcome back. How's it going? And then he took all 3 of these controls. Get the controls. And start putting... One thing he did mention in the videos is that this stuff is going to get easier. They're going to make it more automated. So it's kind of like everything when you're talking about rigging. Like, first you do it the hard way for a while, and then eventually someone comes up with ways to make it faster because it's rigging. And then soon enough you're like, oh, it's just one button push, and then all that's done. This is something John's like probably going, oh geez, it's not gonna script this too. It's gonna be crazy. Let's see if I can jump back to... So he's getting the names in there so that each of the I guess the names will already be there because I dragged them from there. But then he just has to bring the transform into each of them. And then he's gonna name it to what phone is. Yeah, see, like, this is such a manual process right now, isn't it? Like, we shouldn't have to, like, manually say, oh, I want this to connect to that. It should just be like, make, like, there should be a button here or something like create a controller from it where it automatically builds it, unparents it, makes the thing, connects the transform. Like, that shouldn't necessarily be a task that you have to do manually. But you can't really blame them. They're just sort of like, first we gotta make the tool work. Oh look, I can't find the left foot because it's called foot left. Oh no, the character moved. That's not a good sign. Oh, have I got my feet wrong? Would be weird. I'll find out when I put right foot in here. And then the feet will be all crisscrossed. That's not a good sign. I have to switch this around here. Okay, so that means that this, I did start with the left foot, or the right foot first. Oh, I can't do that. I got a name already. Or maybe I'll do foot. What am I calling it? Foot R. Control. I'll call this foot left. Control. Where's that red? And then we'll switch the transform around. There we go. We got the feedback in there again. Okay, and then the last one is the head, head, head. Pop that in there. Okay, so just by doing that, should be able to test this, I believe. How do I do the transform tool? There it is. There we go. We have a sneak, magic sneak movement here. So, and he was talking about how this is like, when you do put it all together, you'll see that you get some weird results. So, and this is basically what you get from all the default values. They just give you default limitation values for all the joints. So if every joint was made equally with its, in terms of its ability, this is the result you get. Again, something that probably could be done potentially more automated. I don't know. It gets a little tricky because you're dealing with joint names. So this is why having, oops, don't undo things. Always compile or reset it. This is why having joint names, like a joint name convention and then matching to it, can save you a lot of headaches, because then you're not worried about, oh, did I make foot L called foot left instead of foot L? And then that way you can predict that this is going to be the naming convention. Otherwise you have to do some kind of retargeting thing where this foot R means foot left or foot right. You know, just matching the two names together. It's the biggest headache usually, especially when students come to me and they're like, can I have this animation working? And you're like, oh, what skeleton is it? And then you're like, oh no, how do we get that to like go over to this skeleton? And then it's there's a specific pipeline in the industry that everybody kind of matches and follows just to make life easy like this, like for this kind of thing. Okay, anyways, let's get back to the video and see. Next steps are quite a bit more boring, but also very important, because he talks about how to limit these joints so they go in particular ways. So, and he's gonna do what I just did, which is like, oh look, it looks awesome when you move it. I never tried that idea. Oh, he has all three of them selected at once. That's why he was getting that weird look. He's like, they were calling this the Elvis pelvis, which for good reason. All right, let's move on to the next step. What are we going to type in these values here? Oh, I know why. He has to put in like all these other values, like the spine and the arms and everything. Because, oh look, we just added a bone setting instead of a effector. So this is a different checkbox. So the effectors, I guess, are the ones that are the points that you can move and control like an IK, which is funny, or which makes sense because when you got IKs, you have your effector. But now what we're doing is we're taking the joints in between those effectors, and we're going to be able to say stuff like how much stiffness do we want a rotation and position, just so that all those inside joints between one point and the next point are not going to freely rotate quite as open. And so this is where you get into like node hell, because you've got thousands of these things. You're putting in very specific values, but in some ways it's good because you can control it how you want for your character. So you have freedom in that way, but you can see the challenges here of like just trying to get a lot of values. So what he's made was the calf right. And what was the first one he made? He made it so fast. I feel like how does he control the pelvis? The calf is down here. Let's see here. Gotta watch really fast. And go to bone, and what are you gonna do? Up, down, up, down. What is this one? We don't know. What? Type. Calf. Oh, that was the calf left. Oh, what's this one then? Oh. Ball. Calf right. Ah. That wasn't what I thought we were going to be doing. Let's go try it, take a look here. Why are we messing with the calves? Okay, so here's the bone settings. We open it up. I'm not sure what I'm doing here. File. So we have calf left. And they added another one. Calf right. Let's see here. Is that the calf joint? I'm just trying to figure out which joint the calf joint is. So this is the joint to the thigh joint. I'm assuming this is the thigh joint. And so this is the calf joint down here. So I guess that makes sense. If this is our effector, then that's the first joint along the chain that we need to manipulate. So let's see what kind of values he puts in. Oh, I think he needs to control this because otherwise the knee kind of like wobbles out like some kind of crazy broken leg. So he's putting a 45-degree angle constraint on the calves so that when you, because I should test it before I actually fix the thing. When I move this up, like I shouldn't be able to do that. Because people consider that unnatural. So what happens when we do that 45-degree angle? Oh, where was it? Preferred angles? 45 on the Z? Man, I have no idea how he knows what the Z is. I guess the blue is the Z. Oh yeah, so there's the Z there. So 45-degree angle limitation. Let's give it a try. No, we're still breaking that knee up. Good. What part did I miss here? It's like, look, it's all fixed. There's no problems. Use preferred angles. Checkbox is on. Maybe that's the problem. Whoa. Just got kicked in the face. Oh, I have use preferred checked off, so let's check those on then. Use preferred checked on. Oh, look at this, it fixed the leg. Oh man, that actually did work. Alright, so our foot is now bending forward. Don't fully understand why, because I don't know why Z45 preferred angle. Oh, preferred angle, okay, yeah, so move to the 45, move forward to the Z, I guess. Use the Z angle axis first as a preferred angle. I don't know why 45. What if you did like 1? Would that still work? That's the left calf. No, 1 does not work. What if you do 90? Whoa! 90 is really intense. I guess if they have enough slack, then it goes to 90. And then once you're at 90, then you can start pushing the body up from 90. The preferred angle. Okay, so I guess that makes sense. That means that this is their preferred angle, which obviously makes no sense. But otherwise, 45 is your preferred angle. I don't know. Whatever. 45 then. So be it. So once it gets to about here, I guess that makes sense. So you're straight, nothing moves, and then you get to 45. The hips are not moving up and down until we hit the 45. And then once you hit 45, then we start pushing up, pushing the hips up. That's kind of the natural progression there. It's kind of cool. Obviously the hips are very flexible, so we're going to probably deal with that pretty soon. But at least now I understand why what preferred angle is for. And back to the video. Okay, so we're minimizing the 2 calves so that I guess we can build the next joints without having to have this huge hierarchy. Oh man, he's just built like 5 of them. He must be doing the spines. Oh, he starts with the pelvis. And then he has like 5 spine joints to do, which is a big job. Alright, I'm gonna do that too, I guess. So that means he needed to make 6, because there's 5 spine joints and a pelvis. So I'm going to minimize the bone joints and then make 1, 2. How did he do it where he could see it still? 3, 4, 5, 6. So the first one is pelvis. Second one is spine 1, spine 02, spine 03. What's kind of neat is that like this this setup that we're making with the blend parent, or the heck is it called, full body IK, his argument is this is a nice little setup if you wanted, like, hey, there's only 4 joints. How come I've run out of space? That means I need to make 7. Anyways, he said it was used for like you could use it as a skateboarder thing. So obviously he's just creating something that's a simple demo to work with, but at the same time, it was a bit interesting to think, okay, well, what other kind of combinations can you do? It doesn't have to be just the feet and the head. You could obviously put the hands in there as an effector for the arms. I know with the motion builder, they have lots of different ways that you can work with it. It actually is one of the reasons why motion builder is a little bit of a complicated rig to use, because you've got all these, like, you have modes, like you can be in full body mode, or you can be in like body part mode, or like joint mode. So you can go into different modes, but then when you are in full body mode, certain things you can do that you can't do in other ones, and vice versa. It adds more complexity. But it's particularly useful when you're dealing with motion capture, and I think, you know, in this case, it's not motion capture specifically, but it could be, I suppose. It's more for like game mechanics. Maybe we can come up with some creative way of using it in a context where it is for motion capture cleanup or something. Because it is a control rig, so it means you could technically bring it into sequencer. So, well, we can try that afterwards. Maybe we'll take this in. We'll do a skateboarding animation. Why not, right? And we gotta rig up a skateboard. We've got 50 minutes. Alright, so he's got you can definitely see, because he's created these ones and there's 0 stiffness, it totally locks the spine and the body in. He's putting 0.9 as the values for each of these spines, so I guess that means that he's putting in a lot of stiffness. Oh, the last one was 0.3, sneaky. Joint 3 is 0.3. Oh no, he's got the wrong PO name. Jeez, I didn't even realize he made this mistake when I first watched it. Look at this, he's got to now remove a pin. He's fixing things on the fly. So 0.3, no, wait, 0.9. It's the last one's going to be 0.3. No, he put 0.9 again. Where did he get the 0.3 from? I don't know what he's up to. They were actually talking in the video about how, like, oh, it's, you know, it doesn't really matter, or it does matter what values you put in, but he's like, he's just putting preset values in, and you can put other values. So 0.9. Oh, actually, before we do this, let me see. Yeah, we still got some crazy pelvis thing here, so let's see if I put, let's just test the pelvis before I get too deep into this. Put 0.9 for the pelvis. Oh yeah, so that seems like the pelvis is a lot stiffer now. 0.3. Oh man, yeah, that's pretty flexible. 0.5. 0.8. Yeah, 0.9 is kind of like the threshold. It really locks in there. Look at, even the other foot kind of pops up off the ground a little bit. Wonder, maybe it's because of the angle, the preferred angle is just at a wrong number. I mean, not a very useful number. I don't know. Put the left preferred angle to, sorry for being really boring here, 35. Let's see if that changes anything. No, it still floats a bit. put like, you know, 45, 55, 65, put 55. No, it doesn't help. So I don't know what the deal is there. Put that back. Minimize, minimize. Pelvis. We have no idea if pelvis is supposed to be 0.9 or not, but I think it is. Rotation stiffness 0.9 for all the different spines. Okay, and then video. There's other streams too that they did control rig videos with, and I have not watched them, so I really should get my butt in gear and start watching these videos. Obviously they're not about Unreal 5. This is the first one they did about Unreal 5. Oh yeah, then we got the chicken neck. Oh, what did he write? 0.9 for pelvis. Oh, I just got it in there last minute. 0.9. So he's going to add 2 more joints. One's neck 1, not one's neck 2. So 0.9, 0.9. Okay, apparently 0.9 is the magic number. Maybe, although I don't know. I wonder if you're like, if you could do. This is rotation stiffness for the neck. If you did rotation stiffness for the head, oh, the head is the effector though. I was gonna say maybe you can get it to stop the head from correcting. Oh yeah, and then there's the settings at the very bottom here where he changes the iterations from 20 to 100. But apparently that's like how many joints up the chain they can communicate in order for it to affect final effector from one effector to next. So maybe there's more than 20 joints from the foot to the head. So he's just put it up to 100, and he's like, oh, it doesn't matter, it's not that expensive. All right, well, I'm gonna look. His foot isn't floating in the air like mine is. What's up with that? I'm gonna try to catch up here. Let's put 2 neck joints in there. So I guess I don't need the pelvis. Spine 1, spine 2, spine 3, spine 4, spine 5. Add neck and neck 2. And use the magic 0.9. It seems to be almighty. And then we go to settings and we change this to 100. Although maybe I should just see if it see, I still got that weird hop effect. I almost feel like he purposely moved the feet to not show that hop effect, but whatever. Oh, here we go. I gotta check the oops, I hit undo. Don't hit undo. What did I remove here? Oh, no, I still got 0.9 there. Compile that. I wonder if I could add the effector for the hips so that I could technically get that counterbalance effect going on here. We should try that since I'm already finished now. Save that. This is probably not going to work, but we're going to try it anyways. Put another effector for the hips. It's probably going to break everything. Just be like, sorry, what do you want to do? That doesn't make any sense. Nobody does that. Oh, if I make another effector, I have to make a control to represent its space, probably. Right click on the blue node to remove the array from element. I saw him do that earlier. So I'm going to grab the pelvis. create a new control. Take the space node, unparent it. Then I can drag this new control. Oh, I should probably rename it here. This pelvis. Hey, I didn't put control at the end of head. Good thing I spelled it with a capital H. It didn't duplicate. Let's get rid of the capital P as well. And now I just drag it in. Get control. Oh, change the name there. I should be able to just add the effector for the pelvis. It's gonna make the character sit on the ground. Then if I drive it with this transform, I should put it back to where the controller is. Okay, let's see if this works. Pelvis control. Ooh, look, it is working. What about the head? Head controller. Ooh, wow. That's awesome. I didn't really expect it to work, to be honest. I was like, there's no way this is gonna work. Here, if I get it down. But yeah, you can see the spine is trying to crumple up a little bit to make this work. But that's, I guess, the preferred angle, which should be maybe not those numbers. Maybe we can fix that. Let's try to fix it. Not neck. We want spine 05. Let's make its preferred angle 10. And I'm probably going to spend all this time putting these things in here and nobody's going to care. 10. Oh, and also check on the preferred angle. Oh, okay, I can actually see the changes here. I don't know. 10 isn't enough. Let's do 45. I don't think this is gonna work. Oh, it is gonna work. Look at that, it's bending in instead of out. Alright, let's keep going with it. Maybe 45 is a bit much though. Let's go back to 10. No. See, this is the 5th joint, so that would be this one up here. And it's not, definitely not bending in the right direction. I don't understand how this works. Oh yeah, there we go. Now it's bending down. Even though rotation stiffness is at 0.9. Maybe that is contributing why that's all weird. Yeah, so now it's not. Rotation stiffness of 1. Dave, he's back. He's full of cake. Just ignore what I'm doing on the screen here. It's perfectly fine. Nothing's wrong with what I'm doing. I don't know, for some reason putting at 0.9 and 1 makes a drastic difference here. It's so weird. Oh, this joint down here definitely rotates. Alright, I'm just gonna consistently put them all at 45 and see what happens here. .9. Use preferred angle, preferred rotation, 45. Nothing changed. Use preferred angle, 45. Oh, there we go. That's changed. Dave says, can you go over everything you've just done to this point? Yeah, easy. It'll only take me 1 hour and 22 minutes. which is impossible to do in a 2-hour window, I guess. I have no doubt everything is working perfectly as expected. Yeah. Well, seeing how my expectation was pretty low, it's quite possible this is an accurate statement. 45. See, that doesn't look very good. It's going back to the weird bending the wrong direction. Let's put negative 45. What does that mean? Oh, look at that. It's totally weird. Heck. I don't even know what to think of that. So positive 45 bends that way. I'm pretty sure this is the joint we're talking about here. What is this? Spine joint 1. Yeah, so this is the pelvis, this is spine joint 1. We're getting some pretty free flexibility here. Oh, rotation is... Oh no, sorry. I thought it was at 0. Well, maybe this has to be added as well. Oh yeah, it has changed. Changed things. Ah, darn it. What if we just put that at a little bit, like 10? I do not get these numbers at all. Like, what's the deal? Why is 10 and even 20 do very little, but 45 is like, whoa, man, extreme. And 90. Oh yeah, no, 90 is more extreme. Alright, well, doesn't, even though I'm trying to make this work, it's still like there's, that spinal cord is just rotating the wrong way. Like, how do you get it so that it rotates in the negative axis? Usually when you have spinal case in Maya and you're rigging, like, it's the initial orientation of the joint does actually give it the, like, unless you invert it, it's like naturally going to bend the way that it's slightly rotated to. And in this case, they're all slightly rotated back, which is pretty normal for a spinal cord. But I'm just not sure how you would ever get it to, like, not look ridiculous. And since they did have a disclaimer saying, you know, this isn't intended to be an animation tool, this is just a corrective tool, it's possible that it is not possible. I don't know. Possible that this is just a feature they never created. So anyway, they'll have like 45-degree angle ratios. And then if we grab the pelvis controller, we can, oops. Let's just reset this for a second here. Bring its upper body over. Yeah, looks weird. Bring the pelvis back a little bit to make sure that the body stays in balance. And they lean over. So the idea was that the character would grab onto a doorknob or something. Actually, the idea was that this was a character that you could have as a skateboarding person, which still would work pretty good because although, oh, maybe you can parent them together. Oh, don't do undo. What if I took the pelvis? I was gonna say parent it to the head controller, but then it's gonna move 100% of the same way. So it's like take the pelvis and move it at half speed of the head control, but I don't know how you're gonna do that. What's funny is I was like, oh, we should animate a skateboarder. But meanwhile, it's like, don't animate with this rig. But it looks so possible. And then you can put hands on there and stuff too, I guess. Alright, I'm gonna put a hand on there. I know it's boring to watch me do another piece, but I'm just kind of curious if the hand will work fine. So, new hand control, unparent it, rename it to and left control. I renamed this one to lowercase p. Nope, won't let me do it. Alright, whatever. And we'll bring the new effector control that we're going to use. Get the control. We have to create a new effector instead of a new bone. It's going to be hand left. Attach that to here. And watch the magic. Oh boy. Wow. So I guess in order for this to all work, I'm gonna have to like keep adding a bazillion joints. Like now I've got to add the shoulder blade and the upper arm and the lower arm. I guess it's only 3 joints. Got the clavicle left. 0.9, which is the magic number. Bird angle 45. I don't know if this is necessary, but I'll do it anyways. And then we've got shoulder. Uh-oh, shoulder pad. What else would they call it? Oh, clavicle, upper arm, that's what we're calling it. Upper arm left. Bird, oh, 0.9 magic number. 45. Possible Z is not always the right answer. Do we have lower arm left? 0.9. That's a great pose. Good job. Yeah, so that, what is that, spine 5 going nuts there? What's up, spine 5? Oh, wait. How does this go in here? We got another joint that we have to worry about, or what? And lower club. Okay, so spine 5. Oh, spine 5 is... Yeah, no, I think spine 5 is the one after that. There's... Oh, maybe not. Okay, so this is the clavicle joint. It's connected to that parent. So that is the joint that goes 2 different directions, but upper arm is the joint there. So really, it's just clavicle and spine 5. So I don't know. Let's go check out spine 5. Pretty sure it's spine 5 that's acting up here. They should have like a little text of what joint this is, so you could actually see like joint name, joint name, joint name. That's all I really need to know. Preferred angles. We'll take that part off. Oh yeah, that did work. Oh wait, hold on. Look at that neck. Oh my goodness. So, I mean, I guess each of these joints are starting to move a little bit, and maybe that's related to the preferred angle as well. You can go back or forward. So yeah, I guess when you put the arm up, it pushes the elbow back, which pushes the arm back, makes the spine go back. There's clearly something weird about, oh, I guess the head effector stays still, so that's always going to be a factor. Normally the head isn't locked into world space, so yeah, the head controller doesn't really make a lot of sense unless it was somehow parented to something. I mean, in theory, I guess I could parent it to the pelvis. Let's see what happens here. Oh yeah, the pelvis doesn't do anything though. Yeah, I don't know. Not working very well. It's like once you got the, I mean, in theory, I just move that and then you have to manually move the head as well. Which could be a thing you do. Because I gotta take the pelvis and move it back. But it would be obviously much better if you could get it so that the whole body kind of naturally conforms in the direction you want it to go. It's so creepy weird with that like head staying still in the world. It's basically just this input here. Head. Be able to just disable it? Oh no, you can't disable it. You would have to like delete it or something, I guess. Without a head. That sounds morbid. I'm gonna get rid of the head. Oh wait, that's not how you do it. The blue one. Remove array element. And move this to world. Oh man, that spine is now free to do all these things it never could do before. Alright, well, I've done a wonderful job. Pretty sure I can call this finished. Ah, shoot. Alright. Well, definitely explored, I think. Pretty satisfied with in terms of what this is capable of and where you can go with it, but also some of the limitations. There's probably a reason why he decided to do, let's do a skateboarder, because it's like by far the easiest and trouble-free version of doing full body IKs. But again, it's not really like, it's just supposed to, like, if I hadn't put all the spine joints in there, maybe this wouldn't have been so crazy. But again, like the idea would be the hand joint goes towards the doorknob and that ends up pulling the body. And that's the key element of what you want. And obviously the feet keep it down, locked down. Feet don't slide. And the pelvis is there for like Essentially, you could pull the pelvis in the opposite direction. But, oh, that doesn't actually look too bad from that angle. Sean, keep going, Simon. I must say that is a perfect posture. It's amazing. It's just so beautiful. Thanks for the support, by the way, Sean. Appreciate the, I am starting to lose my inspiration of like, what the heck I'm doing here. I was gonna do something fun, but now I'm like, it looks terrible. I can't do fun things when it looks terrible. Forward angle on spine 5 is turned off. I don't know if that matters, but what if we turn them off on all of these? So that, yeah, so that we can see how it looks when I turn them off. Oh, it makes it worse. That was gonna make it better. Well, I am working my way to the bottom of the spine. We'll see what happens when I get to the bottom. Spine 1, and then we'll turn it off for pelvis. Alright, well that is different. Dave says you got this. Thanks, guys. Nice. Nice having some moral support here. Alright, well, let's try this idea where we've got a doorknob piece. And then we still have our pelvis controller here to help counter it. Doesn't look too bad. So, question is, what do we do next? Do we put this on a piece of animation? Do we try to drive animation with it? Oh, actually, let's go to the video. Let's see what they do with it, because, but as far as I got on this, for this length anyways, before I, ran out of time, basically. Well, let's see if they does anything different. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, he gets into the monster after this. Let me see here. Control rig. Let me put this up on higher quality. Control rig. Source. Reach amount. Laser location. Oh, I can actually look at this right now. Take a look. This is the... Oh, I don't know. Ancient one. Animation blueprint. Yeah, let's take a look. Yeah, the ancient one definitely had a had some sort of body IK to it, because they were doing that laser thing with the arm, and they were talking about how it was conforming to the laser pose. I didn't really quite get it at first, but starting to understand now why they were doing it. Because I was like, okay, great, you got an IK system, but it's a full body IK system that they're talking about. I don't even know where this character is. I'm gonna do a search. There's Echo. Look for animation blueprints here. Wait, how come there isn't a character here with it? What? How is that possible? There's got to be a control rig for it, or I mean an animation blueprint for it. Unless it's like the level needs to be loaded or something. Echo slope warping control rig. Oh wait, this is not it. Ancient one and a blueprint. How come I don't have that? Maybe we should just, maybe it's not in here. Maybe it's just the, oh, it has to be in here. Oh, what's this? Ancient battle content. Whoa, okay. I did not realize there was stuff underneath C++ classes. I'm not familiar with that particular workflow. So what else we got? Crossfader content. Cover drone content. Wow, okay. I think I found it though. There it is. Ancient 1 blueprint. See what happens when I open it. Wow, that took a long time to open. Alright, there's our skeleton with a bunch of meshes that are joined to it. Like, I think that's how they did it. At least that's what they talked about. Whoa, that just made a sound effect and it scared the crap out of me. There's an animation notify here or something. I didn't have my desktop audio on though, so nobody else heard it except for me. There it is. Oh, it's really noisy right now. It's nice sound effects though. Alright, let's see if we can find the animation blueprint. Oh, I was there. So when I clicked on this, it went to the animation. Okay. Huh. That's what we got here. Oh, here we go. This is the state machine. Idle, robot fire to idle blend. Let me start playing with some of this. Ooh, that was fun. I should, like, scare everybody with these awesome sound effects. You ready for this? Boom! Okay, and then I'll, oh, whatever. So you can toggle some of these checkboxes in the edit preview to actually manipulate what is, like, there's all these different rules that are allowing you to enter different states. So when you toggle it, it allows it to enter the rule, and you can preview stuff. So now we're in the Ancient 1 charge loop, which is, apparently that's the animation for it. Is it possible that we could, like, put a skeleton mesh on him? Oh good, we can. So that's him in the charge state. Let's turn off the joints. And then off. Hit is the word. So whenever I hit hit, it goes, doesn't matter which state it is, or one of these states, it can go back to hit. Then it went into what type of hit. So target was the shoulder, or the belly, or the head. They have the return animations for each one. I don't think the head does anything. Shoot. Laser. Here's your reach amount. Oh, okay. I couldn't. So shoot goes from. So you go from start charge, and then you go to shoot. And then you're stuck in shoot mode, which would be where the full body IK would take place, but I'm not sure if it has anything to do with this state machine here. I'm also curious, like on the idle, there was some ambience. Oh, random sequence player. That's how they're doing the ambience. They just play the idle, and then they play the idle fidget idle. And the fidget idle B. Play it randomly. Chances of 0.5, 0.2, and 0.3. That's a pretty easy way to do an idle randomizer. I know when I did my first course, I did a randomizer, but I did it through like a randomizing node. I'm not sure if they had a random playback node at the time or not. It's possible they did, and I just was doing it the really hard way, but that randomizer one is definitely nice to use. So this is the event graph. We're looking at all kinds of different. Look at this weird fragmentation on my monitor here. I feel like my video card is dying on me. Oh no, it's whenever I move the blueprint. So here's some notifies, checkboxes, request state. What I'm looking for is how we get to the full body thing, which is gonna come later on. Targeted belly. Rule. Here. Alright. Need to look at the anim graph. Here we go. So there's our state machine we're just looking at. Then reach amount is a value of 0.5. Laser location. So that's kind of like the pointing direction. Here's a control rig, Alpha CR. Not sure. Interpreting Alpha. Sure, CR makes a lot of. Oh, control rig. Alpha control rig on and off. Okay. What if he was toggling Alpha CR? Can we just. I wanted to find references to it, but. Or. CR. Find references. Oh. One reference. Getting it. That's the only reference. I guess maybe it's a fixed value that never changes. A value of 0? Nah, it's probably going to change for something. Maybe it's inside of the anim graph. Like when you shoot or something. I don't know. You can't really set things. Set things need an action in, so you can't do that in the graph editor. You can only just get stuff. And that's because the whole state machine is running out of a different synchronization of ticks than the rest of the event graph, so you can't use execute pins inside of there. Anyways, I'm going to double click on this control rig and we're going to go over to it. I'm going to take a look at what the full body IK is all about. There's our control rig that we're looking at. Let's just jump right to the fun stuff here. Grab this hand. Translate. Oh, that is so fun. Not sure what the deal is here. And the actor transform. Oh. Oh, that's where the laser goes? What is that called? Actor transform. Yeah, it's definitely not designed like it was before, allowing people to modify it. It must be getting driven by external sources here. Get laser location from world. Laser location, eh? From world. Oh, let me just jump back here for a sec. Laser location gets assigned to the control rig. How do you talk about that? Oh my, I was in the rig graph. I don't even know what this is. Forward solve, execute. What's this? Anim with F. EIK. Oh, entity. Or entry, sorry. Laser location, actor transform. Nobody is even using that value, so that doesn't make any sense. And references. Get reach amount. What are these things? And how do I find them? I have no idea. Hit transform. Interpolate. Transform control. Full body IK, so we're using the foot left and right to keep it stationary on the ground, like we were before. And right control and actor transform. We're adding the transform data, is putting them into interpolates, getting the reach amount, remapping it. This is so complicated. Source, minimum, maximum. I have no idea what the heck's going on. Source A is directly from the transform of the right hand controller, and source B is a combination of where the hand translation is plus the location of the actor transform, which is that green guy. So I guess that's how you get like a 50% result, although you're adding the two of them, so you get double transform. I don't know. Wait, you're getting the Y of this one and the Y of that one. Yeah, so you're getting the transform of both of them and using that as your interpolate. Very weird. But that would actually work out in the end. And then this is like remapping the source and the target based on a value, which I assume is like a 0 to 1. How does that even work? I have no idea. And then we're modifying the transform of the right hand. So, and right. Oh, that's a bone. So we're transforming the joint position of the hand. So instead of just being a controller that's in the right place, it's actually going to be a dynamic object that's moving. And then here's the bone setup. What are we looking at here? Modifying the spines, the upper arms. Let's see what kind of preferred angles we have. No preferred angles. Rotation stiffness 1, position stiffness 2 for the spine. Huh. That's spine 4? That would be the end of the spine. Upper arm. Oh, wait. There's more stuff too. Limited X. -10, +10. So the upper arm can only rotate very small, or is this rotation data or positional data? I assume it's rotational because those are like, you don't usually translate joints. Clavicle right. I set it to 1 stiffness. Spine 3 is 1. This one's 0.8. A little different. Spine 2 is 0.5. Wow, that's so dry and boring, but it's kind of interesting because we were comparing it to the values we were playing with a minute ago, so. I mean, they definitely tried a bunch of different numbers and just 0.9 every time. But it still doesn't really give me a whole clear picture of... We just have apparently a dynamic controlled effector. We have an aim. It transform from the actor transform. Okay, that's that green one, right? Actor transform. Its translation is the target for an aim. The right hand. Oh my goodness. Alright. It would be interesting to see like what the workflow was that the people did to be able to test this. I mean, I guess once you have it sort of wired in, then you're just messing around with it inside of the animation blueprint, I guess, or something. I don't know. Wow, if I haven't discouraged you from using body IK before, I've probably successfully done it now by looking at how to do this. At least that's how it's feeling for me. I'm like, oh man, this makes it look so complicated. But just so you can have a couple inputs on a custom node. It is neat to see them using it here, though. I've never actually used the control rig in this state, in this position, so maybe in a way we could do it in a way that makes that nice and simple, so that it's a little easier to digest, rather than having this very complex system for just so that it can like have a body reach thing. Wow, it's brutal. Anyways, I am running out of time, so I guess I get to call it quits without an exciting finish. Audrey says, I was so lost I didn't get discouraged. That's hilarious. Yeah, I was so lost. I didn't even know whether I should be discouraged or not. Yeah, I know. But that's how it usually goes when you're doing tech stuff. You get into a point where you're just like, wow, that's really overwhelming. And then eventually you break it down. You're like, okay, well, that's not too bad. There's just a couple things you're doing here. So it would be kind of nice if we could somehow break it down. I don't know if I'm going to be doing this next week or not. I'm definitely going to try and watch some more of these videos about control rigs, see if we can get see if there's something that I can do in a stream where we can like make this concept feel more doable rather than this like outrageously technical puzzle to solve. But I don't know, or we'll just do something different, change it up. Depends on what the way the wind blows during the week, I guess. Anyways, thanks everybody for hanging out with me and actually making it to the end of the stream. It was a tough stream for sure. But anyways, I appreciate all the company, and feel free to let me know if you have anything that you want to talk about during the next stream. Otherwise, I'll see you all again next week. All right, take care, everybody.